Yeah. No questions, Venkat.
Great.
Yeah, go ahead, Venkat. Start the class.
Yeah, take care. So last session we discussed about so these things, how to expose REST web services and how to expose these web services functional. I mean, theoretically we did actually. So we'll explain one program also on that. So did you start working on that?
Actually, I just started our first two classes, Venkat, 2 hours classes, because I did not get the other classes videos till now. She's going to send me today itself. So whatever the
Oh,
like, I think we had 3 classes before, right? The introduction and next of the two hours classes. I completed the next 2 classes.
oh, okay, great. Okay. So this exposing web services we did in 2 ways actually. We can do in 2 ways. One is code first, another one is visual first. So I told you yesterday actually. So this code first means first we have to write the job. We have to write the code for generating the visual file. So finally, our theme is in case of publishing web services, we have to share the visual to some other people. I mean, previously we consume the other people visual, right? So
Mm-hmm.
now we are the exposer, so we have to expose the visual file. So that is our target here. So how to expose the web service here? So there is 2 ways. So now I am saying there is a code first. So using Java code, we can expose the visual file. So how can we do that? So another way is using directly visual file. If we have to write the visual file manually, so then we have to share that visual file to some other people.
Mm-hmm.
So for that purpose, there is a component called CXF component. So using that CXF component, we can do that actually.
Okay.
Okay. So
Uh,
see this here. So this is a HTTP component is common. So there is a source here. There is a HTTP listener. So after that there is a CXF component. So in panel itself there is a CXF uh, component instance. That is one of the message processor using that. So you have to mention some Java classes in this. So before going to that, so I will write. I will say how to write the Java classes here. So yesterday I gave
I can't
that
see your
Java
screen.
brains link. Oh, you can't see. You know?
Yeah, now I can see.
Okay, fine. So yesterday I was giving one link, right? The Java brains for
Yeah,
web
yeah, yeah.
services. Did you
Yeah.
go through that?
No, no,
Did you go through that?
I just had an
Okay,
introduction
just go through
class.
that actually. So same thing actually here also. So in case of Java, how will do this web services exposing means how to create a WSDL. So same way here also we can do it actually. First we have to create a interface. So do you have heard about interface concept in Java, right?
Okay.
Yeah, same way here also we are going to put some interface here. So there is a public interface. Interface is the keyword, right? You know that, right? You know core Java concept. There is a concept called interfaces and abstract classes, right? So
Mm.
interfaces. What is the purpose of interfaces, right? So we have to define some methods here. There is a concept called abstract methods in the Java itself. So we have to define some abstract methods here. So generally abstract method is nothing but before the method you have to keep it abstract keyword variable. So, but whereas in so there is not required to mention abstract keyword in before the method. So because it's an interface, in interface by default it's a abstract and public. So no need to mention public also here. By default, whatever the methods inside the interface, that is nothing but a public and abstract method. See, everybody can access this type of method, right? Public means here it's a global scope. Everybody can access actually. So you know that access specifiers also in Java, there is a private, public, protected and default. The different types of access specifiers are there. So if you keep it a private, so then nobody access actually. Within the class, the scope is there. So like protected and default, so each and have a, there is a separate scope actually. So default and public, default and protector have a same scope, but some other difference is there. But whereas in here, so public method. So here, no need to mention the public here because it's a by default. If you define a method inside the interface, that is nothing but a public and abstract method. So that's why I didn't mention the keyword abstract and public here. So hello service. I just place one method. That method is nothing but a hello service. Here concept is, you know, why they introduce this type of interfaces concept in Java. See, whatever the common methods, I'm talking about core Java concept. So whatever the common methods, we have to keep it in a, interface. So I'm going to give example of interface. Why? What is the advantage if you use the interface here? So take some printer. So we have different types of printers available in the market. Like there is a laser printer, inkjet printer, like so different types of printers are available in the market. So what is the functionality of printer? So there is a printing, right? So printing is the common method for all the printers, whatever the type of the printer it is, but printing is the common method. So if you take printing method in the printer, so implementation wise is different actually. So the inkjet printer is different than what other. So laser printer implementation is different. But what is the common method here? That printing is the common method. So that type of common methods we have to define the interface. Somebody else will implement these methods actually. There is a keyword called implements. So these people who inkjet printer implements from the printer interface, then they have to provide the implementation for printing method. Similarly, so other printer, laser printer implements from the that interface, printer interface. So they have to provide the implementation for printing methods. Like that, each and every people have separate implementation. But what is a common method here? Printing is a common method. So that is a Java, core Java concept of interfaces. So here also, whatever the methods you are going to expose, you are going to give. So somebody else will call your methods, right? So that day while consuming time, so that day I was explaining what are the methods in the WSDL file, right? So that's method we are exposing here, we are mentioned here. So first method is hello service. Like that we have to keep multiple methods also, not only single method. How many methods we are going to expose, we have to keep it this interface actually. Here for testing purpose, for sample, for POC purpose, I am giving one example here. So that is nothing but a hello service method. So that is an interface actually. So and one more thing here. So based on Java code, we are going to export. We have to generate a WSDL here, right? So that's why how it will generate the WSDLs. We need somebody, some third-party jar files, third-party jar file for generating this type of WSDL, right? So that's why there is a JAX WS. There is a JAX WS. So there is a jar file. So we have to use to generate this type of WSDL actually. So where is that? So we have to keep it in a lib folder, or else third-party jar files. We have to keep that thing where it is lib, or else we have to put in a class path actually. So the jar file. I'm trying to show that where it is that jar file. So go to Java build path. So libraries. See this? This is the JAX WS jar file. JAX WS API. We are using this API. So based on this API, we can able to generate the digital files actually. So where you have to keep it, this should be in our class path, whatever you are going to create a project, right? In the project build path or else class path, the jar file should be there. We can download from the web. So internet, we can keep it in a your project lib folder. Then you have to put in a class path the jar file. So if you keep it the jar files, then you will get this type of annotations. Otherwise, we won't able to get it actually. So where is that web services annotation? Web service annotation Java x.ws dot web service. So in the annotations are available actually. So this annotation will take care the responsibility to create the visible file. Is it clear? So this is the interface we have to write the methods, how many methods you want to create in the visible. We have to keep at list of methods here. Then we have to use, there is an annotations called web service. So you heard about annotations, right? In Java itself there is a concept called annotations. We can create our custom annotations also. So this is already built-in annotations. So what is the functionality of built-in annotations here? So the responsibility of the annotations should generate the visual file actually. So whatever the methods we have, but whatever the method, whatever the implementation we are giving, so that should be placed into the visual file. That is a responsibility of this web service. So here in core Java itself, we can able to create our own custom annotations also. If you want to build in some annotations, right? So somebody else will use in that type of annotations in future. If we build that type of annotations, right? So that time we can able to create our custom annotation also. So these annotations here we are using to create a visual file at the rate web service. So how we'll get these web services? Once annotation, once we have to keep that jar file, jax ws. We are using jax ws jar file. So to create a jax, to create a visual here, that is a interface here. First we have to write the interface. So next one is, so we have to write the implementation for that. So whatever the methods we are writing in interface, right? So further we have to write so some implementation class here. See this, how we'll write it? Implementation class hello interface implementation service. Hello interface implementation service. Implements from where? That interface. What is the interface here? Hello interface service. That is the interface. So your class should extend from the, your implementation class should implements from the hello interface. That time what happened? Whatever the methods contain according to core Java concept, whatever the method contains, right? So automatically that method should be available here. We have to override that methods, right? So similarly, so I did say that override keyword you have to use it. There is a annotation again. What is the use of this annotation? I'm telling to that. So I'm going to override this method. So I'm telling to the JVM. Okay, I'm telling to the JVM. So I'm going to override that method here. So that is the meaning of that
Okay.
override. You can remove also. It will work. But what was the issue if you remove the at the rate override? If you keep it a any by unexpectedly if you remove the by spelling mistake. Suppose if you remove this, uh, in place of small h, I just keep it a capital H. Just keep a capital H. See this. See there. It's saying like, boss, this method is not there. It's saying clearly. So the method, hello interface method must override implement a super type. Okay. So this treat as a separate method actually. It's not treat as a that particular method actually, right?
Yeah.
Create remove override. See this. If you remove override, now what happened? It will treat as a separate. I'm just removing that. See, no issue here. No issue here. So that time what happened? Add unimplemented methods. This time I'm asking to implement this method. So unexpectedly, typo will happen, right? So that time unexpectedly I just keep it in place of small h, I just keep it a capital H. That time what happened? It will treat as a new method. But my assumption is my target is I want to override that method. So that time if you give it this type of override annotation, it will give the clear error message, boss we have to override that particular method. So like that it will say it actually. You are getting right why, what is the advantage of override here?
Yeah.
So if you keep it like this, it won't get an issue. So by mistakenly, if you write like this, it will give error actually. So based on that, we can adjust, we can change that code actually. That is the use of annotation. That is implementation. That at the rate override annotation here. Okay. So like this, what are the methods we are writing in the interface? All the methods we have to provide the implementation. I just provide only one method. That implementation I'm trying to provide here. That is done. So that is for this generating visual files, we need only two classes. One is interface, another one is implementation class. That's it. So after that, what we need to do? So there is a component called CXF. So that is available in the palette. Just drag and drop that CXF message process. So here there is an operation called. So it will show the operation, what type of operation we are going to use. Operation means which type of third party you are using to generate the visual file. You see this, there are different ways are there to generate the what we call that visual file. So here I am using, people are preferred this type of JAX WS service. Then so for that third party people already provide that jar file, just we have to use it, we have to generate it accordingly. Otherwise different ways are there. There is a proxy service, and then otherwise simple service, like this different uh, ways are there to generate it. So each and every ways we have to keep it that related jar file, then we have to generate it actually. So that is the way. Then I'm choosing JAX WS here. So that is the people prefer to generate JAX WS only. So next one is here. So we have to keep it. So service class. What is the service class here? Your implementation class, whatever so you implemented right just now, that implementation class we have to provide here. So that is hello interface implementation service. I will pass here, there is a plus symbol here, just click that plus symbol. You can search the class, we can add it actually, sorry, you can create the class, uh, or else you can there is a search button here, there is a search button here, click that search button, we can search for Java class com.org dot then implementation class here, right? So see these two classes you can able to see this, that where is that com.org.hello world service. We can search here like this, then we can add it actually. See this, you can add it, just if you click OK, then it will appear into here. So that is the way to search and add it, otherwise just copy paste it. So go to that so that interface, go to that implementation class and copy paste it. With the package itself we have to copy it, com.org. So this implementation class, so then all the path we have to show clearly. So then that is the input of this your CXF, that's it. After that we have to pass, there is a Java component message processor, we have to drag and drop that Java component. The Java component, what we need to show, your interface actually. See, com.org.hello interface, you have to show that. That's it. So then, if you deploy this application, it automatically it will take the responsibility to generate the visual file actually. Is it clear? I'm going to deploy this application. Run as Mule application. Code first followed by how see this, how
Yeah.
will see the visual file. So then code first followed by visual. So that's it. So then it will generate the whole visual. See this. So in that our method should be there, right? So
Yeah.
means method means our services. Let's see. So what is the service name here? It is nothing but your interface, hello interface. Then in that there is a hello service, right? Just check for service how it will generate. Control F, Control V. See this. See, your operation name is hello service. Operation name is nothing but your method here. So, so there is a service name. Next one is your implementation class. Next one is port. So that is the hello service implementation port. Next one is what is the address here? So HTTP localhost 7011 port first. That is your address. Next one is coming to here. So you are passing any parameter. So the parameter list is showing here. So just I am passing only one parameter, right? So that's why.
Mm-hmm.
So there is one parameter here. So if you pass multiple parameters, it will show here. So multiple parameters. Next one is schema. This is a common actually. Next one is version, and this hello service and response it will show. Then this is a minimum occurrence, right? We are passing one parameter, right? So there is a mandatory field or else something kind of thing we have to define here. Minimum occurrence 0, at least once it should be there. So next one is like this, whatever you mentioned, right? That method and implementation, that part should be available here actually. So this your JAX WS will take to generate the type of visual file. So here what we need to do, so this URL, right? This URL we have to expose them, right? So based on this URL, they will generate that visual file, or else we can share this. We can share this visible to third-party people. So based on this, what they need to do, so whatever the method we are passing, right, that method, so they will consume this API, they will consume this visual file, they will generate the Java code, right, stub and client they will generate it. So accordingly they will hit, so that hello service method, so they will pass that argument, string argument, then they will hit it accordingly, whatever you provide the implementation, right, that implementation part it will display. Is it clear? So that is the thing. So previously what we did, we are the consumers that time. So whatever they expose that web services, we are consuming it, accordingly we are working. Now we are the exposer. So that's why we are exposing our web services, right? We are exposing our web services. We share them. So then accordingly they will consume it. Other people will consume it. So then they will use it. Is it clear?
Okay.
So that is exposing our web services, SOAP web services using code first. That is a code first actually. So code first means your Java will play the vital role actually. So that is interface, then we have to provide the implementation, then you have to give it this web service, then it will generate it. So another way is visual first actually. So visual first, how we'll do that visual first? Two ways we can do it. So code first, then the other one is visual first. Okay, where is this? Okay, 1 second. Okay, so there's other way to do that actually. So here also we'll use the CXF component only. This is a CXF component. So for this we have to pass that visual file.
This is publishing the
So
soap or
same thing. That's what I'm saying. Publishing SOAP API, so you can do in two ways actually. So one
okay.
is what? So one is code first, means previous one, previous example. So
Okay.
first we have to write the interface, then we have to write the implementation. So based on that JAX WS web services, we can able to create visual file actually.
Okay.
Second way is this one actually. So how we'll do it? This is my visual. See this. Already I written the visual here. Loan
Yeah.
system API dot visual. Okay.
Mm.
So first you have to write the visual, then we have to share them. How will share it? Same way actually we have to use CXF. See this, I am using CXF. So that I am passing here. So whatever the visual here, right? That is at my local, so that is at my project itself. Then I have to pass the visitor here. So what is the service we are passing? Like hello service, right? Just now we did code first, in that we are passing that method, right? So same way here also we have to pass that your visitor file location, your visitor file name, what you are going to expose that method. So these things we have to show here, and that's it. So based on that, what happened, it will share to that visual to other people. So then if you want to do any operation, you can do it actually. That is transformed to DOM XML, then it is connected to the DB. Then there is a concept called data wave, right? I was explaining previously, converting from one format to other format, right?
Yeah.
So that we have to show here. So we are trying to convert it. So we are convert it where we are giving to the proper message to the latter message processor. So finally I'm displaying content into logger actually. Something is that's it actually. So here first what we need to do in this case, we have to write WSDL file first actually. So you know how we'll write the WSDL manually. So there is some online tools we'll get it to generate it actually. So it's tough to write manually, that's why. So there is some online tools will get it. So if you pass that what is the method we are going to give, means what is the service it is, that service what is the parameters we are going to pass. If you keep it all these things, so that online tools will take it to generate the visual file. Then once generate the visual file, right, we have to copy paste that generate visual file, we have to keep it to our SRC main resources. Whatever the resources related to project, we have to keep it to this resources folder actually. Just keep it here. Then so accordingly we have this CXF component actually. This is a CXF component. So just sorry, this is a CXF component process swoop request. So we have to show that, we have to give to the accordingly. Is it clear? So this is a visitor first. Previously code first, this is a visitor first. Two ways we can do it actually. So people prefer that code first actually. So that code first, just you simply write the methods, then you have to write the implementation classes, then you have to give the that whatever the visual file generated URL, right? Question mark followed by visual. So that we have to give to the other people. Then they will get the visual file. So based on visual file, so they will write their code, one code, client code. So they will get the information, get the response once hit that particular service method. Okay, now so there's
Okay.
two ways we can do it. Just go through it. So if you have any questions, we'll discuss again. These concepts are important actually. These web services concept. Okay, now so we cleared that how many ways to consume. I mean, how to consume or expose the web services. Okay, now so filters also we did actually. Is it clear?
Yeah. So can you just say why?
So next one
What's the
is
use for filter? What's the use of filter? That's it. Just in one short of
which one?
filter. You said yeah, filter.
Filters, huh?
I'm sorry.
Yeah. Filters means there is different ways of you can use the filter actually. Suppose best example is, suppose I'm expecting some results from the third party. We're not getting that result. Suppose I'm expecting, I'm trying to insert the object into Salesforce, right? Salesforce, one of the sandbox, I'm trying to insert the opportunity. So that time what happened, if successfully insert the object, so that time what happened, we'll get some unique getting the filter.
Okay.
We have third party, or else response we are not getting. Null response we are getting. That time what happened? We have to keep it this filter component. You are not, will create error handling actually. Handling. So that filter it will do one way. Another way is suppose suppose we are getting the request with some particular query parameters.
Mm-hmm.
So not getting that query parameters. If the query parameters keep it fine, then it will work, right? If you are not putting that query parameters, then we have to check that we are getting query parameters not in filter itself. We have to keep it actually, right? If you are getting query parameters properly, we'll go ahead to next level. Next processor will go ahead. Accordingly, we'll continue the service. If you're not getting query parameters properly, what we need to do is we have to throw to the exception, right? So we have to throw to the exception, then accordingly we have to give the proper error message. Boss, we are not getting the query parameters like that, we have to give the error message. So that is the purpose of the filters actually. I
Okay.
was giving the some clear examples actually how we'll do that validate HTTP request.
Hmm.
I'll show you once again. Basically that is for filtering purpose actually.
Hmm.
You can filter the input, you can filter the output, is okay. We can filter the input. We are getting some input, I have to filter that. I don't want to send multiple values. I want to filter that. So once you get the response also I want to filter it. So that time we have to use this type of filters concept.
Okay.
View timing session. See this. I'm just saying about input, right? Talking about filter here. So there is an input filter, right?
Mm-hmm.
So in the see, just I'm putting some expression here. Just I'm putting expression. What I placed here, message dot input properties dot query parameters dot update or delete is not equal to empty,
Hmm.
and message input properties HTTP query parameters dot brand code is not empty. So this condition is true. So this condition it will return either false or true or false. If this return true, our condition satisfied, it will go to the set payload, right? You're getting.
Mm-hmm.
So if anything issue, so it will return false. So that time what happen? It will throw to the error handling, right? So by default error handling is there. Think it is according to error handling concept. If happen in direct to the error handling. In the error handling, we have to keep it some reference exception strategy. So or else you have to keep it the same way itself. So I just keep it some choice exception strategy here. In the choice exception strategy, we have to keep it. There's a catch exception strategy. So what is the difference actually? Choice and exception, catch exception strategy. In the choice, we have to keep it multiple catch blocks, right? So here also I did same thing actually. See, we are getting this filter unaccepted exception. Where will get that filter unaccepted exception? When will get that filter unexpected exception? So if you filter uh, rejecting your request, rejecting means getting false actually. So getting false. Whenever you're getting the false, so means that time what happen? It will redirect to the error handling. There is a concept called, so each and every flow have by default this error handling is there actually. So it will by default means, so that is if you not handle it, then by default that is there. So if you override it, that is fine actually. So when you override it, we are keep it some proper error message actually. So then, so it will go here. So internally, whatever you implemented, right, in the catch exception strategy, you can keep it multiple process also here. This inside catch exception strategy, we have to keep it empty just put it. So not only thing, so we can keep it multiple message processor inside catch exception strategy to achieve proper error messages, right? So that is a way of one way of using input filter here. So what I did here, just I am requesting, I am validating the input request. Like that, validate the output response also. Means response also can validate it actually. Is it clear? So any doubts on filter when you go and how to use it?
No, now I'm okay.
Yeah,
So
good.
we completed 2 weeks, Venkat, now?
Hmm?
2 weeks classes was completed, right?
Hmm. Hmm. Check this, if you have any questions, we'll discuss now also.
No.
Yes, even
Let me
concept
complete.
also
Let
not
me
aware,
refresh
then
this
we'll.
second week, Venkat. So maybe we'll take one whole class for the doubts, like for half an hour or 1 hour.
Okay,
Yeah.
fine.
So when I completed these 2 hours and 2 hours, 4 hours of classes, so there was no doubts. I'm good with everything. I understood everything.
No, not only 4 hours, we take more than hours, right?
Yeah, yeah. So I did not get all those
More than 4 hours.
recorded videos. Yeah. After that,
Oh,
we
okay.
completed one more 1.5 hour and one more 1.5 hour. Yeah.
How they are sharing? Just they'll share the URL or else directly
No, I'll just
video
get
they are
the
sharing.
video. Yeah, I'll just get the video. But it takes a lot of time
Okay.
to convert into MP4.
Oh, you are converting to MP4 then
Yeah.
what type of format they are sharing?
Uh, it's uh, it's a WebEx record thing. Right? It converts into MP4.
Uh-huh. Got it? So, okay. Okay, good. Okay, so next concept is the error handling actually. There is a so main concept. So how to handle the errors. So what type of exception strategies they introduce. So
In
that
fact,
type
we
of things.
completed
So
this
observe
all
here.
VM endpoints, JMS endpoints description.
No, not it,
Okay.
no, not it, not it actually. So this is an important concept. That's why I'm explaining first actually error handling.
Okay.
So that's why I'm discussing. I'm going to discuss this error handling actually.
Okay.
So these are also VM endpoints, JMS endpoints, connecting Mule with third-party application. So we'll discuss one by one. So first, it is error handling is an important concept. So that's why I'm going to explain this error handling concept. Okay, now? So what is error handling? So what is meant by error? So say what is the difference between error and exception? Any idea? What is meant by error? What is meant by exception? What is the difference?
So error is nothing but what we get. So if we have written any program, we get some bugs. So to
Mm,
to be debug it, we'll use some tracer or
mm.
some. We'll debug. So what
That
we
is
get the error is a bug.
okay. By exception.
Uh, Exception. No idea. Man. I just don't know that
So
definition.
thing is, no issues. Good. So see, error and exception difference is main difference between error and exception is. So if you get the error, we should handle it. We should change that. Otherwise, we can't able to execute. We can't able to compile the program. Will
Okay.
resolve that issue. So, but whereas in exception, so no need to resolve that actually. And sometimes we can just throw them out. We can continue the execution actually.
We can
Suppose
skip
think
that.
like this in my program, yes, we can skip that means we can handle it.
Okay.
But error we can't able to handle it.
Okay.
I will tell you what is meant by handling. So
Okay.
get some error like say, for example, while compiling my programming, my Java programming,
Mm-hmm.
I'm getting some JVM related issue. You will get JVM related issues also, right? Right?
Okay. Yeah.
Like JVM related issues means your memory will it will use high, I mean most of the memory it will use, so it will go to the keeps peak stage of memory. That time we will get some JVM memory related issues actually. That time what happened, we should handle it, we should clear the memory, right? We should clear the memory. That time we'll go ahead to the compilation successfully compile, otherwise your program won't compile it actually. Means we can say it's a network issues kind of thing actually, right? So but whereas in exceptions, right, so if we get the exception, no need to resolve it actually, we can handle it. I don't want to I mean I don't want to resolve it, I just handle it. Handle it means suppose think like this in our program, like 10 statements are there. 10 statements are there. You are getting right. In my Java program, I have a statement 1, statement 2, up to statement 10. So
Okay.
suppose we are getting error in statement 2, right?
Okay.
That time what happened, you have to resolve the error in statement 2, then that time only your program will be compiled. Otherwise it won't compile. It's keep on giving the error. So suppose if you get the exception, in statement 5, right? So if you get the error after that statement 2, in the statement 2 we are getting error, remaining statement, so whatever the statement 3, statement 4 up to statement 10, it won't compile it actually, because they will stuck in statement 2 itself. But if you get the exception in statement 2 or statement 5, so what happened, we can handle it, we can execute the remaining, whatever the remaining statements also, right? So we can execute remaining statement also. That is the difference between exception and error. You are
Okay.
getting that.
Yeah.
Suppose we are getting arithmetic exception, think like this, anything by 0 in my program. So I written, there is some kind of what we call arithmetic exception, means anything by 0 it will give arithmetic what we call anything by 0 it will give arithmetic exception, right? That time what happen, if you handle, there is a handling process called try catch flag. According to Java exception handling, we can keep a try catch flag, then in the catch flag we can handle it actually. So that time what happen, you are handling that exception, so whatever the remaining other statements are there, right, it will go ahead and it will so continue the execution actually, it won't stop. So but whereas in error, so if you get the error, it will stuck there once until unless you resolve, then that time only remaining statements will execute. But whereas in exception, if you get the exception also, you can able to continue remaining statements. Is it clear, right? What is the difference between error and exception?
Okay. Yeah.
So that's the thing actually. So in error handling, how we achieve in MuleSoft itself this error handling actually. So So for handling errors in MuleSoft, they introduce different types of exception strategies actually. So, so first exception is, strategy is, you are getting right. So for handling error handling, for handling errors in MuleSoft, they introduce different types of exception strategies,
Yeah.
right? So first one is Mule default exception strategy. So default exception strategy means, so that implicitly applies to Mule application, our service. Implicitly means by
Mm-hmm.
default internally. So implicit objects, right? So
Yeah.
no need to create an object actually. By default that object available. That is nothing but a implicit. So here also implicitly applies to all Mule application this default exception strategy, right? So in your flow, so in my flow, uh, I'm not handling this exception strategy. So you're not using any keyword here. You use not any mule component here. By default, anything happen, it will go to the error handling actually. There is nothing but a mule default exception strategy. So by default, that is available there in all the mule you can say mule instances. Is it clear? So
Mm-hmm.
there is a default exception strategy. So what else exception strategies are there? So basically there are two types of exception strategies in they split into two types of exception strategies in Mule actually. One is system exceptions.
Mm-hmm.
Another one is message exceptions. System exceptions. Next one is message exception. So system exception is, it's not related to your service, it's not related to your code. So that is related to your network, that is related to your mission. Just now I told you, right, it's related to your JVM, right? Your JVM will peak level memory. So that time what happen, you will get some memory issues. So that is nothing but system related issues. That is nothing but system exception, right?
Okay.
Another one is messaging exception. Exception means this is related to your flow. This is related to your service. So whenever the exception is thrown within a flow, so we'll get this type of issues actually. So these are different types of exception strategies. One is default exception strategy, anyway we use discussed. Next one is catch exception strategy. So catch exception strategy, rollback exception strategy, reference exception strategy, choice exception strategy. Working. So clear, right? So there are different types of exception strategies. Default exception strategy means, so by default, that implicitly that available in your flows, right? So
Mm-hmm.
next one is catch exception strategy. So catch exception strategy. Catch exception strategy we can use in our flow. Multiple catch exception strategies we can use in our flow. So in the catch exception strategy, what we need to pass, we have to drag and drop that catch exception strategy from the palette, right? In the catch exception strategy, so we have to keep it so that specific condition, what is the cause of that? That cause we have to get from stack trace, right? Suppose we just keep it a filter, right? So filter rejecting your request. That time what happen? It will give some print stack trace in the console itself. That time we have to take that exception, unaccepted exception, some kind of exception you are getting, right? If you reject the filter, we are getting that unaccepted exception. You have to use that unaccepted exception. You have to take it. Then you have to keep it in a catch exception strategy caused by this. So if the caused by that, it will go there, it will give that error message, whatever you written inside catch exception strategies. In our flow, you can use multiple catch exception strategies if you want to really use it. Right? Means your code will demand, your requirement will demand. Then we have to keep it multiple catch exception strategies. Like in our core Java, right? So we can keep it one try block, we can keep it multiple cache blocks, right? Can we write it?
Okay.
Can write it, right?
Mm-hmm.
So there is a one try block followed by multiple cache blocks, right? So
Yeah.
generally try followed by cache, right?
Yeah.
Try followed by cache. So in my program, so two exceptions are raising. One is arithmetic exception, so means anything by zero, right? So another one is what? Another one is some index array bound exception. So when you will get that array index out of bound exception, right? Your array size is 10, but you are trying to insert the element 11th element, right? That time what happen? It will throw your compiler will throw exception like what it is, array index out of bound exception, right?
Yeah.
In core Java there are two types of exceptions. That is what it is, checked exceptions, unchecked exception. Did you heard that?
No.
Checked and unchecked.
No.
So here we have two types, right? Messaging exception, like another one is system exception, right? In
Okay.
core
Yeah.
Java also
In core Java, you
there are
said
two
checked
types
and
of exception.
unchecked. Yeah.
Exactly. Checked exceptions means your compiler will raise that exception action, means so if the exception is coming in a compile time, right? So
Mm-hmm.
that is nothing but a checked exception.
Mm-hmm.
So if the exception is coming in runtime, right, that time we'll get unchecked exception section. So these are like what we call arithmetic exception, array index out of bound exception, some null point exception, file not found exception. These are nothing but this not this some logical issues, right? It's not compile issue, right?
Okay.
We're getting this logical issue, means your JVM will raise that, means runtime it will found that, runtime it will get the exception actually. That's why it's nothing but a unchecked exception. So here also same thing actually. So there is a system exception, it's related to compile time, means it's related to out of your flow, your mission, your server, so that kind of issues. Hello?
Yeah, Venkat, I'm listening.
Yeah, okay, fine. So next one is messaging exception. Messaging exception means, so this is coming from your flow. So this might be system exception is nothing but your server issue also, right?
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes your server is not responding, or else some 500 error will get it, right? So
Okay.
we have different types of error codes like 400 plus, next 200 plus, then 400 plus.
Yeah.
400 is nothing but your service issue, right? Service filter means your code issue. If it's a 200, it's not issue actually. 200, it's a success kind of message, right? Like that, there is a 500. If you start with 500, it is nothing but your server related issue, right? So 501, 502, 503 like that. So if you get that, so your server issue that is. So here also there is a messaging exception and system exception. System exception is nothing but sometimes you are getting that server related issues also. That is nothing but system exception. Next one is messaging exception. There are different. First one is catch. So next one is rollback. So reference exception strategy, choice exception strategy. So when I use for choice exception strategy actually, so that catch blocks, right? So I told you about catch exception strategy. We can keep it one try block, so then we can keep it multiple catch blocks, right? So here also in the choice, first we have to drag and drop choice exception strategy. In the choice exception strategy, so we have to keep it so multiple catch exception strategies. You are getting right. So first we have to drag and drop the choice exception strategy in the choice exception strategy. So directly we can't use that catch exception strategy actually. So where will get catch exception strategy? Where will put it? So inside the choice exception strategy, we have to keep it catch exception strategy. So right. So next one is a rollback or reference exception strategy. So this reference exception strategy is I want to refer my exception strategy. Generally, if you see here, other here. See here, this is choice exception strategy. Inside choice exception strategy, I just keep it a catch exception strategy, right?
Okay.
So see this, we can say it is a reference, right? It is a reference. I just keep it a component called, I just drag and drop that reference exception strategy. See this is a reference exception strategy. I just drag and drop here, then inside, so where it will go? I'm trying to refer that actually. So where it will go? It should go to the, this is nothing but a global exception strategy. Inside I'm calling what I'm calling here, choice exception strategy I'm calling, means that reference exception strategy, it will refer to other exceptions, other flow actually. You can say it's a flow also. See this this reference exception strategy, it will refer to choice exception strategy. So that is for referencing purpose. See why you are using here the type of reference. So here our theme is it's we can split it how much is possible. You can, based on that we have to split your flow actually, means you are getting right.
Yeah.
So ఇక్కడ వీలైనంత వరకు we have to split your flows actually, right?
Okay.
So we can't keep it same all the code, all the components in a single flow. That's not the recommended way actually. Means according to object oriented, what we need to do, so each and every separate functionality we have to split into and write a separate method, right? That is the object oriented, right? The recommended way that is. Here also we have to split it actually. We have to segregate it, each and every separate functionality we have to write it a separate flow. So we can use sub flows, we can use private flows.
Okay.
Similarly here, I'm referring that, so if you write here a whole flow, it's not looking good also, right? So that's why I'm referencing, I'm refer this flow to here actually. I just keep it a reference component here, message processor, I'm just refer to this, whatever the subflow here, I'm referring here. But this is not subflow in this program actually, but I will show other programs that is referring to that exception strategy. So that is the use of reference exception strategy. Next one
Okay.
is final one, rollback exception strategy. So when I will go for rollback exception strategy. So think it is generally there is a maximum times there is one component is there. You can keep it in HTTP also. You can keep it maximum times. Means suppose we are hitting to third-party service, right? Think like this. I'm trying to connect some database, HANA database. I'm trying to hit the HANA database. And then I'm trying to get some response from the HANA. Right? That time what happened? First time it will hit it, but that network issue or something issue that is got down. Right? That time what happened? I'm unable to connect it. Second time hit it, third time hit it. So we can keep it 5 times actually. So that we keep on hit it not available that the third party, then it will come back to the response with some whatever you written, right? That will come back. Means using this we can try to hit multiple times. You are getting right. What we call that recurrently we can try to hit it actually.
Okay.
You are getting right. So
Yeah.
any tolerance is happening, any issue is happened, you hitting first time, then I'm trying, so based on that we can't justify, we can't send back to the response actually. Second time, third time, we can keep it maximum limit actually. So that limit keep on hit to the third party. These things happen, right? So there's a middleware implementation, right? We are trying to connect with different third parties, right? So maximum limit achieved, then that time only you are giving proper response actually. Otherwise, you have to keep on hitting 2-3 times, right?
Okay.
So that time what happened? This rollback. So that fifth time also nothing happened in that. So means it's unable to connect to third party. That time it will go to the rollback exception strategy. Is it
Okay.
clear, right?
Yeah.
That is all the exception strategies here. Okay, so in this MuleSoft, this is also error handling also plays a major role actually, because so we have to write a proper exception handling actually. So this is nothing but we are trying to find the what type of exception will get in the flow. So we have to get it, we have to shoot the global exception strategy. From the global exception strategy, we have to redirect to the subflows. Subflows means here that catch exception strategies. We have to catch proper error message, right? So proper cause we have to get it. Then we have to redirect to the user actually. I will show you the POC. So we'll get more idea on that. Where it is. Implementing choice exception. Observe here.
Okay.
See this in my flow. I'm just putting here some validator here. So I'm just showing the validator. They see this input data validator. So here that day I was explaining that there are custom validators also can keep it actually. So some built-in previous program that HTTP validation, in that there is already available uh, kind of validator. We just kept it in that we are writing some condition kind of thing. So here also there is a custom validator is there. In the
Mm-hmm.
custom validator we can write the Java code here. So I just keep it a Java class here. That is nothing but input validator Java class. So in Java you can easily handle it, right? Some conditions kind of thing. That's why. So here they provide some custom kind of validator. In the validator, input data validators. Once you'll get the data, I'm trying to validate it. How will get the data? You know that, right? That day we discussed about mule message, right?
Yeah.
So once user will hit it, right? Once user will hit it listener, then it will come to the convert JSON to hash map, right? Means so might be user will hit some input, some other format of this, whatever it is. So that's why I'm using transformer here. These are all transformers. So means
When
converting.
user hits the data, so it's come to payload, right, Venkat? So it maintain the data, right? Payload.
See, that's what I'm saying. So
Yeah.
based on your requirement, so
Okay.
we have to keep it these components. Payload means,
Yeah.
see, first you have to convert the data, then you have to keep the data into payload.
Okay. Okay.
Then or else, you can use payload here also. So, but we are not sure which type of data it is, right?
Okay.
So in my requirement, if you want to pass proper data to input validator,
Okay.
I want to map. I have to get it as a map. Why? Because here, see this here. I'm assigning to the one map, whatever you are getting mule message, right?
Mm-hmm.
So I told you that day. So that mule message contains all the things. Means whatever you are getting the input,
Yeah.
like headers, like payload, like any attachments there. So whole things are where it is available
Mm-hmm.
in the mule message itself. So think it is. See here design pattern itself. It is a message driven architecture, right? So whole thing is we are talking about message only. So means whenever user will hit the request, how it will get how will flow it is. It's flow like a message only. That's why. So here there is a mule message, the built-in class is there. And the
Okay.
mule message, from the mule message, we can able to get it actually. So here why I am converting from that mule, that whatever the request it is, that request object to convert into hash map. So that is hash map is convenient to write the condition here. So that's why I'm converting into map. You are getting right what I'm
Mm-hmm.
why I'm getting.
Yeah.
See this here. Message dot get payload. Message dot get payload means that whatever you are converting data into map, right? Whatever you are converting data. So I'm trying to getting that content based on that message. You're right. So see this here also what I written here in the itself. In the Java code itself, there is a org dot mule dot routing dot filter. Here also I'm using filter only.
Mm-hmm.
You are getting right.
Yeah.
So here also using filter only, right? So in the filter itself, there is a component called, there is a method called accept. Just go and check it is what is a filter here. There is a built-in class here. Filter is a built-in class that is available in the core Mule itself. There is a built-in class. See, that's what this whole thing, whatever the MuleSoft whole thing is, they built on top of the Java code only. They will use Java code only. So that's why here filter. So where it is available. So this Mule message and this filter, this is an interface that is also available in core MuleSoft core jar file only. So what it contains, there is a method called accept. There is a method called accept.
Mm-hmm.
So what we need to do, just now we saw that interface then implementation, right?
Mm-hmm.
So this is nothing but interface. What we need to do, we have to implement the filter whenever do this. So this filter contains how many methods? Only one method. So we have to override that method, right? Same thing we are doing here. So upgrade override, accept, followed by mail message. Then
Uh-huh.
whatever the message we are getting, then we are assigning to a payload. So because here we are getting as a map, right? So previously I was converting into map. So
Yeah.
that's why. So here is a map you are getting, map object we are getting. So that's why. So here we are getting like a map. So message dot get payload. Then I am trying to assign into map.
Mm-hmm.
You are clear, right? This collection comes
Yeah,
in this
I'm
one.
okay.
So for writing mule, so we should know the collections actually. So next one is payload contains email. Payload contains email. So you are sending data, right? You are sending some data. So there is nothing but a payload map here. So we are assigning to the payload map. Contains key. So there is a method in the maps itself, right? So contains key. So whatever you are sending, user will send the input, right? If the contains email, right?
Mm-hmm.
So then fine. If it is content, then it fine. If not contents, I'm checking here not. See this, not a payload map contains email. That time what happened? I'm returning throw new null pointer exception. Means I'm throwing some exception like null pointer exception. Here throw is means what? There is a different keywords in error exception handling, right? Try, catch, black, and throw and throws kind of thing, right? So there is a throws, THROWS throws and THROW throw. So what was the difference between throws and throw? So throws is the keyboard. So I don't want to handle the exception. I just throw them out. So once you get the exception, I don't want to handle it. I just throw them out actually. Suppose like I will give the proper example further. Suppose I'm trying to read the data from the input. Okay, I'm trying to read the data from the input. So, but there is no input file here, right?
Mm-hmm.
So that time, whenever you read the data from the input, so where we have to use like handling like a throws input output exception, IO exception. You have to use it, right? But I don't want to use that input output exception, right? The time what happen, you have to use the keyword called throws wherever you written the code like buffer reader or else input stream reader. You know that, right? IO package in core Java,
Yeah.
right? So
Yeah.
in that there is a buffer reader, input stream reader. So there are different classes are there. So whenever we use that, we have to throw particular exception. There is nothing but IO exception actually. So that time we have throws keyword. But whereas in here I am using throw keyword. So what is the purpose to create the use the throw keyword? Throw is a keyword in Java. So then you can create your custom exception, right? You can create your custom exception. So that time you have to use this throw. means here, so here new keyword. What is the purpose of the null pointer? The null pointer create an exception using new keyword here. So you know that new keyword, right?
Yeah.
In Java itself, if you want to create a, you have to use the new keyword, right? So here also what I'm trying to do, if the email keyword, if the payload doesn't contain email keyword, I'm trying to post this same trying message also. This one is integer.parse.payload contains item. Means exception items should be greater than 0, right? So
No.
that time if it exception. Another one, item price per unit is you're getting right user means you
Mhm.
have to Dikshit some.
Yeah, I'm listening, Venkat. Hello?
Listening for some echo is coming actually. Some echo is coming.
Yeah.
Some disturbance is coming
Some
actually.
network issues and here some even my roommates are shouting.
Okay.
Okay, I'll mute it, Venkat. It is will be easy for you, and if I have any doubts, I'll just ask you.
Whenever you have a question, just unmute it, then we'll discuss.
So yeah.
Okay. Okay. So this is the will get the message. Once get the message, we have to check this type of conditions actually. So this is nothing but a custom filter. That's why we are using this type of custom Java code. So after that, see this. Once you will get the, suppose we are getting this exception, that is null pointer exception. So what happened here? It will redirect to your error handling concept actually. So it will throw to error. There is a choice exception strategy. So see this choice exception strategy. So just it's a component only, just drag and drop the choice exception strategy. So inside choice I just put multiple catch exception strategy. This is a catch option. If you have a Java code, will throw the illegal argument exception. That time what happened? It will throw to this catch exception strategy. Come to here, then where you handle that illegal argument exception strategy, then it will go here. So it will go inside here. Then here I'm using data wave actually. The day we are discussing about data wave concept, right?
Yeah.
So it will come you in this payload. Then we are trying to display that page. Like we can write multiple catch exception strategies. Apart from that, invalidate is another one point exception strategies. In the null point exception strategies, if you get the null point exception strategy, it will go to the different cache flag, and inside cache flag, see one actually. So there is a data wave 1, data wave 2. So no issue. Further data writing data wave. So we are using a transform component. We are putting some data into the payload. Then so this way you can use it actually. Suppose anything, all the thing providing, I'm putting something email actually. So there is a, see, this is a regular expression actually. these are regular expression to via email address, right? So this email address, it should have some @ symbol, then it should have some domain name all. So this is a we'll get this from net also. Actually this is a regular expressions. There is a concept called regex. So using the regular expression we are validating the email. Actually anything is wrong and then it will come back to the exception handling, then finally I'm displaying the payload. So you are getting right.
Venkat.
Yeah, so I'm trying to deploy this into server. So run as Mule application. Okay. See this, I'm sending data, item name, item minutes, item price, and membership.
Okay.
See this, it is giving like missing input data, missing input data.
Okay.
First we'll check the positive scenario. Now see this, input data validation is passed, means no errors.
Mm-hmm.
Right? So if you are giving wrong data, let's check this. So what happened? Missing input data.
Okay.
Input data. Similarly, other things are coming from this invalid input data. Let's see, these are invalid, I guess. See, this is a -1, right? Let's see. See this invalid input data. You are
Yeah.
getting right.
Yeah. Yeah. Venkat.
So from where we are getting these things? These catch flags actually. So these are exception handling as. But
Okay.
here, thing is, in which cache block it is going, we can't able to debug it actually if you want to check it. The debug won't work in exception strategies. Means whatever the exception handling we are writing, right? Suppose I want to debug it from where to where the cursor is going, you can't able to debug it actually.
Okay.
Only in exception handling, means in flow itself we can keep it debugs, but here we can't able to keep it actually. Choice exception strategy, global exception strategy. We can't able to keep it actually.
Yeah.
So we're getting right.
Yeah.
So that is about exception strategy. So compulsory, once you've done the application, right? Once you've done the application, once you've done the service, you have to write exception handling actually. So you have to keep proper error messages. You have to keep it filters and all. You have to keep it accordingly. So that is the thing about exceptions. So that is the thing. That is about error handling. Mm, This also we started actually yesterday. API with RAML, right? API with the RAML part one.
Yeah.
Means how to create a RAML, then how to export it. So API manager, right? Uh, so that's for today. So I mean, going to stop it actually because
Okay, Venkat.
so many things we have to practice it, right?
Yeah, yeah. Okay, Venkat. No problem.
Because once you will practice, then we'll get idea. If you tell also, if you continue also,
Yeah, Venkat.
these things, right? JMS, VM endpoints, JMS
So
endpoints,
we completed the first
some
week and
actually.
second week and the
Once,
third week
yeah,
error handling, right, Venkat?
in third week complete error handling. Even this also we did actually somewhat. API with RAML part,
Okay. But
means how to do
we'll
that and all.
again go with API with the RAML part one, Venkat, because I have RAML heavy concept.
Which one?
Yeah. So tomorrow at the same time, Venkat?
So I mean, no issues then.
No, your wish
Yeah,
when
same
you
time.
like at the 8 evening. So tomorrow is Monday for you?
Yeah, I didn't say 7 o'clock yesterday, right? I told to, oh,
No, tomorrow when you need, Venkat, like
tomorrow Monday only.
so Monday you need in the morning, like
So
7 to
that's
8, right?
6, 7.
6 to 7.
My timing 6 to 7.
Yeah, yeah. Okay, Venkat. Yeah,
Your time 7:30 might be.
yeah. Okay, Venkat.
Today also I told 6 o'clock only. I don't know. You sent
Yeah, yeah. I thought it's weekend, right, Venkat? So I thought why to make
means
the walk up in the morning. So I rescheduled it in for 1 hour late.
అంటే మీకు ఏమన్నా అని చెప్పేసి సరే అని చెప్పాను
లేదు
నేను.
లేదు మీకు
I
నిద్ర
didn't say like that
మీకు
actually.
మళ్ళా మండే నుంచి వర్క్ ఉంటుంది కదండి. సో నిద్ర పోతారు కొంచెం అన్న వీకెండ్ అని.
Like
యా
అలా
సరే అండి.
questions that mule and all. So then MEL also I told somewhat actually MEL expressions,
యా మ్యూల్.
MEL examples also.
యా
ఓకేనా?
యా ఓకే అండి.
సో ఇంతే అండి. సో ఇట్లాంటి మనం కొత్త కాంపోనెంట్స్ ప్లేస్ చేస్తుంటాం. ఆ కాంపోనెంట్స్ ఎప్పుడు వాడతాం, ఎలా వాడతాం అనేది మాత్రం ఎక్స్ప్లెనేషన్.
సరే అండి.
హలో,
యా ఓకే అండి.
యా ठीक है then.
థ్యాంక్ యూ.
Yeah, fine, bye.